He also confessed he cheated on me with 2 different girls, which took me by complete surprise. I got tested. Oh, that's fine in that regard. Whoa, where did this come from? Oh my god. Happy Valentine's Day. What are we thinking of this one? Almost 10k upvotes. Big. Our first post is by user JazzlikeConditioncd. JazzlikeConditioncd, titled, "My girlfriend of 5 years broke up with me and ghosted me for no reason. Am I wrong for throwing away all of her stuff?" So my girlfriend, 25 female, and I, 25 male, were in a relationship for 5 years. Last week, she texted me that we were done, and that was her last message before she blocked me. She gave no heads up. I was planning on proposing to her next month. Her sister did reach out to me saying that it was not my fault and she understood my hurt, but that for my mental health, it was better to never contact them again, and that maybe in the future, my girlfriend might reach out to me again. It's been a week. I'm obviously still distraught, but my girlfriend did have a lot of her stuff in my home. Would I be wrong if I just dumped it all out? It does include a lot of mementos of her deceased grandmother, who she was extremely close to. See, that one, it does include a lot of mementos of her deceased grandmother. I feel like if you threw these out, that's probably a bad idea, you know? I wouldn't do that. That seems like a dick move, to throw out the mementos of the grandmother. Maybe like the stuff that she doesn't need, you can throw out. But mementos, things that are like family and memory related, I don't think you throw them out, just give them back to the sister, you know? They obviously want some space. I don't understand what's going on. I don't think anyone does. But yeah, Squirrely Squirrel in the comments says, "Put it all in a box and message her sister to come and collect it within 14 days or 30 days if that's the law for abandoned items in your state. Be the better person so you never have to look back and regret how you acted. If it was just clothes, then I would say chuck it, but memories of a deceased loved one, give them a chance to collect it. And be sure the sister knows the grandmother's mementos are among the items that you have, i.e., this isn't about the girlfriend's clothes and toiletries or whatever, because they'd be important to the sister too." I agree. He should let the sister know that those important things are there as well. I do think that is the go in a situation like this. I don't think you throw away grandma's mementos. They're not going to be too happy about that one. Box it up, send a text, or call the sister to come pick it up. Also inform her that you aren't ever interested in your ex reaching out to you in the future. The fact that she dumped you and blocked you means essentially that she is dead to you. No need to talk to a dead person. Then go find a real woman who doesn't play 15-year-old girl games. I am keen to see what the reason is for her dumping and leaving him though, because we do have the update after this one. This is the way. Unfortunately, some people choose to end otherwise healthy relationships in really wild ways. The blocking is actually a good thing in my opinion. It's a good indicator that things are donezo and nothing else needs talking about. Move on for your own mental health, OP. Love yourself and do something nice for yourself. Adults should at least talk to each other and explain why you end a 5-year relationship. Just randomly disappearing and ghosting is freaking mental behavior. I agree with that. Like, that is very childish behavior to just up and leave like that. I don't understand. I've not seen that happen in my life. In fact, I've not really seen it happen in these stories before, really, so still very curious to hear what the reason is. I got ghosted by my last ex, and we'd been together 5 years. I moved and then met my now husband my first weekend in my new house. Honestly, I feel like I hit the jackpot by being ghosted. Could you imagine if instead you guys had a whole conversation and you talked him into staying and it lasted like another 6 months and you never met your spouse? Lol, yeah, you did hit the jackpot. Honestly, I was drowning before I moved. So alone and just really struggling. Moving was very hard to me because I was moving back home after being in Los Angeles almost 20 years. I still hate back home, but now I live with and am married to my best friend. We've been married over a year now, and I've never once been worried that he was going to break up with me or disappear or anything else. The peace is amazing. Sometimes good things happened after you get ghosted, huh? Jeez. At best he take a picture of all the stuff so they don't try to spin the narrative that he threw away some of the things inside. Yeah, I do think to protect your ass in a situation like this, you want to record and document everything that you did have and everything that you intend to give back and throw away, because I can imagine the show that happens if you don't do your due diligence. Pack it up nicely and get it to the sister, be a gentleman and close this door of your life and move on. Good luck, you are 25 and single. 26 and single is prime living time. Is it? Kidding, it is. You guys don't have any other opinions? Good to move on to this update. It's only a quick little story. It's nothing crazy like the last one that I read. And now, onto the update. My girlfriend of 5 years broke up with me and ghosted me for no reason. Am I wrong for throwing away all of her stuff? So I boxed up all of my ex's stuff yesterday, drove over to her sister's house this morning, and dropped the boxes off. I got a text from her sister a couple of minutes ago where she thanked me, was sorry for what I was going through, and texted a bunch of other stuff. It was a really long text and I couldn't bother reading past the first couple of lines. She was still typing something as I saw the 3 dots, but I couldn't be bothered anymore, so I blocked her. And so that's that. Time to pick up my pieces and move on, I guess. Oh well, thanks for the advice, Reddit. Going to try and move to a different state soon and start afresh. Oh my god. Nothing resolves. I mean, the story is resolved, but she just starts yapping and you're like, oh man, I'm not even bothered to read these text messages. Just shut up. I don't even want to hear it. Damn, bro, that's hard.
That's what she said.
Can't imagine a 5-year relationship just ending cold turkey like that. This is really a rough thing to happen. My advice, I know that you said you're gonna probs move, but in the meantime, clean your place, reorganize your room and furniture and stuff. I've done this every time that I've had a breakup, and for some reason, it really helps. You're in a new phase of your life, so have your surroundings reflect that. This is essentially what happened to my relationship within 2 months of marriage and a similar length of relationship. There was writings on the wall for me at least, but I never did get a straight explanation. Now I'm 5+ years into a relationship with someone who has much more relational maturity. It's so nice. I'm also still unpacking all the ways that I was mentally and emotionally abused in that relationship. I won't ever tell her this, but I'm thankful that she suddenly dipped out of my life. Similar to my first marriage, we were married for 3 years, together for 5. She came home from work one day and said that she felt like she needed to leave and that was that. She moved out of the house that we had just purchased together less than a year before. We went on dates still for about 6 months after she moved out, and we're still having sex, etc. Why? What? Oh my, okay. After many attempts to get her to reconsider, or at least explain, we finally filed for divorce. That was almost 20 years ago, and I still don't have an answer as to why she left. We've stayed friendly as we still run in a lot of the same circles, and she did eventually apologize for what she put me through, but again, never offered any sort of an explanation as to why she left. Why not just tell them that? Why not tell them the reason? Why are you going to keep someone on edge for that long, especially if you've been married for that amount of time? Even 20 years later, you still can't be real with them about it? That's so sad. So my good friend is recently divorced after 8 years of marriage. Sex was always dull between them, and they lived together more like roommates together for many years. Her and ex are communicating now even better than during marriage. There was no tipping point leading to separation. It was an incompatibility, while lots of tears were shed. He didn't want it, but understood and respected her decision. The divorce process went very smoothly. Sometimes there are no simple explanations. They're both much happier now in new relationships while remaining close friends. She moved to another state, and I'm hanging out with him and his new girlfriend next week. Oh, I'm definitely much happier with my now wife. We've built a beautiful life together. I will say that it did take me a long time to get over my ex, as I always believed that she was my soulmate, and I think not getting an explanation ever as to why she left prolonged my misery. Last I heard, my ex-wife had just divorced her 3rd husband. I was her 2nd. Yeah, I saw something on Reddit today. I don't know, it was Twitter, I think. Someone saying that, like, guys take breakups in relationships much harder than girls, or just, like, they hold on to it for so much longer. And, yeah, I always believed she was my soulmate, and I think not getting an explanation as to why. So, you know, already from the get-go, it seems like there's misery there for some guys, as there would be for this guy, but never getting an explanation, never getting, you know, to know why they broke up with you like that, that would kill me. I'm kind of curious to know what the wall of text said, to be honest. I am too. I really want to know what that wall of text was, right? I would not have the willpower, but maybe after 5 years and the grieving, he doesn't give a f***. It would have been a bunch of bullshit. I remember when I was 15, I did a 2-week oh my god, this is just wall of text. I'm just gonna do what OP did. I'm not reading all that. I remember being ghosted like this the day after my birthday in a 6-year relationship. He was cheating on me and wanted to date guilt-free. Just blocked me everywhere, and his sister wasn't kind enough to let me know. She blocked me as well, so I get how OP feels. Man, it's... Okay, a couple of days before our 3rd anniversary and a few days after his birthday, my ex did this to me. Just went to visit his parents' house and never came back. Even left all the cleaning to me, despite the fact that we were renting off his family friend. Hurt like hell at that time, but honestly, the best thing that could have happened. I think about how we almost got married and had a house together, and I shiver because I would have been miserable. Sounds pretty miserable to me, honestly. Oh my god. Her sister did reach out to me, saying it was not my fault and she understood my hurts, but that for my mental health, it was better never to contact them again, and that maybe in the future, my girlfriend might reach out to me again. That is fantastically vague and ominous. I hope that OP can make a clean break. It sounds like they did, you know. It's a pretty clean break if he just blocked the sister too. Which kind of gave off vibes that the girlfriend got a bad diagnosis, and this is her thinking that she's saving him the loss of her. I don't know, maybe I'm just hoping that she had a better reason than being a heartless monster. Even in that case, I feel like you'd tell them that, you know, I got a bad diagnosis and I'm dying of cancer. That seems like a nice thing to do, not just ghost, no explanation, see you later. It's pretty heartless. Gonna leave that one there. I need something different. This is just getting to me, that story. Oh my god. Our next post is by user Throw RA Oatmilk. My 23 female, boyfriend 25 male, thinks my dad's 59 male gifts are creepy. Is that a red flag? Is it a red flag, guys? I wonder what the gifts are. Every year for Valentine's Day, my dad, 59 male, gives and sends me, 23 female, flowers and a box of chocolates. He has done this every year since I've been old enough to remember. He'd always give me them when I was little. He'd always give them to me when I was little, when I went to college, and beyond, he has them delivered to me. It's just a tradition for us. I think it's sweet. I grew up in a really tight-knit, close family. I started dating my boyfriend Mark, 25 male, a little over a year ago. Last Valentine's Day, I got the usual delivery from my dad. Mark saw and said, "Oh, your dad sent you those? Oh, okay." And that was it. Fast forward to this year. Last night, Mark and I were discussing our Valentine's Day plans for this year, like what restaurant we should go to, and he made a passing comment about hoping that I don't get any creepy gifts in the mail this year. I was confused and asked him what he meant, and he said, "You know how you got that stuff from your dad last year? It's creepy for a dad to be sending his adult daughter Valentine's Day gifts." I was taken aback because it's not like my dad sends me lingerie or something. It was just flowers and some chocolate. I tried explaining to Mark that this is a tradition that I have always shared with my dad. He stands firm that it's creepy and weird, and he said that he asked his friends and they thought that it was weird too. I tried to let it go, but it's been bothering me. 1, I've never heard these kinds of negative comments from Mark before, and am not sure whether it's a red flag. I have never been in a serious relationship before, and am still figuring it all out. 2, when my dad's delivery comes this month, I don't want Mark to feel uncomfortable. 3, is it actually creepy for my dad to be sending this stuff? I've never found it so, but would like to hear others' perspectives. Thanks. Yeah. Never heard these kinds of negative remarks, not sure if it's a red flag. Maybe it's one of these ones where it's like, you need to adjust your red flag compass, mate. Like, it's not that weird. It's just flowers and chocolate. I think that's a fine gift. I don't think it's lingerie. He's never encountered this before. That's just a normal gift. Like, obviously, couples and whatnot send each other stuff like that on Valentine's Day, yes, but, like, it's not that weird. You're not dating your dad. What's going on? Yeah. My parents get me chocolate too. As they should. I mean, my parents don't get me chocolate. My mom got me chocolate for Easter, but I don't know. I think it'd just be funny if she got it for me for Valentine's Day. Not as they should. Sorry, weird remark. How are chocolates and flowers creepy? That's cute. I wish my dad acknowledged me, lol. Oh, I'm acknowledging you. There you go. I'll send you flowers and chocolates next Valentine's Day. How's that? Mark is the creep if he's casting aspersions on her dad. Big word again. What does aspersions mean? I'm gonna have to go Google that. An attack on the reputation or integrity of someone or something. I'm learning today. Big brain moment. My friends pulled me up yesterday for saying FPOS as F-to-POS, and now I'm scared to just say words. Ew, no, my dad always gets me things and I'm 36. He's worried that dad's presents would be better than his. A field of red flags for him to say that about her dad. Now boyfriend has to actually step up and be held to a high standard. I do think that is a red flag from the boyfriend. Alright, let's see what the comments have to say. I do the same for my adult daughters. My dad does too. He has 3 daughters all in our 50s, and I think it's sweet. My dad used to. I'm in my mid-30s now, and he stopped 2 or 3 years ago, mainly due to health reasons and being overwhelmed from caring for my mum. It's not creepy, love comes in many forms, and does not necessarily mean that it's romantic or sexual. Your dad is showing his love for you as his daughter. I miss the days that my dad would send Valentine's Day gifts. It was always so meaningful to me. So to hell with your boyfriend and his friends. Cherish the gifts from your dad. The red flag is the boyfriend. Assigning creepy intentions to a sweet gift from the dad is ridiculous. This sounds like the kind of boyfriend who demands that their partner not even hug a male relative or some other bullshit. Yeah, you talk to any other male member in your family, that sounds like cheating to me. You stay away from me, girlfriend. You stay away from those male family members, red flag. Agree. The only red flag I see coming is from OP's boyfriend, and it's the size of Texas. Next thing, he will tell her that she shouldn't have any guy friends. Soviet anthem intensifies. Yeah, it immediately stood out as a bit of a play at creating a gap between OP and her father, and anyone who wants to separate their partner from potential supporters is someone that screams abuser to me. Definitely something to watch for. Potentially, I think maybe he's just an idiot and he's never encountered things like this before, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I think Occam's razor, whatever it's called, don't attribute malice to what could be ignorance and stupidity. The one having creepy thoughts here is Mark. There's nothing wrong with a father showing his daughter that he loves her. Mark has some pretty toxic ideas. I think, yeah, it is toxic, but I don't know if it's a deal breaker one. It's just like, can you stop being a weirdo? Can you just accept that this is normal? Because if you don't continue to accept this, then we're going to have a problem, right? It takes a certain kind of person to make that an inappropriate thing. He could also be jealous that she gets thoughtful gifts like that from her family. Shaming OP like this could be a move to get her to stop them so that he no longer has to feel bad about his situation. That's like, what is it when partners intentionally do bad things or they're lazy in a relationship? Weaponized incompetence. He's weaponizing his incompetence by getting the dad to stop sending gifts. He's like, if no one else is showing her how to be treated properly, then I don't have to be held to that same standard. It's gonna be great for me. It's not creepy, it's sweet. Mark is an effing asshole. I'm a dad of 2 girls, and this makes me sad that a father showing love for his daughter is thought of as creepy. Every year I get my girls a piece of jewelry, flowers, and take them to dinner. You have a limited amount of Valentine's Day with your dad on this earth. One day, he won't be around to send you your cherished Valentine's gifts. All you have is Mark and his stupid effing thoughts. And if you and Mark stay together, he'll probably rethink how creepy it was that your dad loved you and then want to do the same for his daughters. Meanwhile, you'll have missed precious years of gifts from your own father. Mark's a dick. Mark needs to grow the F up. Flipping the script, since I could remember, my mum, male 54, got me a 1-pound Hershey's chocolate bar for Valentine's, all the way up until I was 30 and she passed away. And not a single girlfriend said that she thought that it was creepy. Your dad is doing something very thoughtful for you, and you enjoy it for many years as you can. Meanwhile, the guy sounds like he has some hang-ups. I mean, I guess for me, I've never seen that in my personal life. I think I'm ignorant of Valentine's Day traditions like this. In a way, I guess I can understand because I've not seen it. I'm a hermit. I never leave this room. My parents don't really care what holiday it is. We still get gifts along with grandchildren. My dad even does National Donut Day, but I think that's more of something that he wants. I love that. Oh my god. Let's go into the update. Hi all. It's been a long 2 months, and I'm sorry for not updating sooner, but I just needed a break. I really appreciate all the insight that I got on my original post. We broke up. I tried having a legitimate conversation with Mark, my ex-boyfriend, about why he found the gifts creepy. And that's kind of what I wanted you to do too. I want to understand where it's coming from. He is close with his family, they show a regular amount of affection for a close American family, so it wasn't that. He could not articulate to me why he found it creepy. He just kept saying that it made him uneasy. No further explanation. There is only so much that I can do regarding that, so I gave up on trying to find the root issue. He originally said that he talked to his friends about it and they all found it weird. Yeah, he never did that. He admitted that he made it up. He also confessed he cheated on me with 2 different girls, which took me by complete surprise. I got tested. Oh, that's fine in that regard. Whoa, where did this come from? Oh my god. Yeah, so I can't articulate why I find it weird that your dad gives you Valentine's Day gifts, and I cheated on you. Twice. Happy Valentine's Day. So yeah, I ended it. He begged me to stay and said that I was the one. No, she's not. If you cheated, it's not the one. I refused. I said something along the lines of, you cheated on me, you lied to me, and we have different core family values. When he realized I wasn't coming back, he told everyone that I cheated on him. Ah, yes, Darvo tactics. Reverse victim offender. My friends were furious on my behalf and wanted to give him a piece of their minds, but I told them I just don't want to deal with him ever again. I am so done, I just don't care anymore. He is blocked. So basically, I still have no idea what his problem with the gifts was, but good riddance. And for everyone who said that I had a good dad, trust me, I know, and I am so lucky. I'm gonna visit him next month, and I can't wait. Thank you all. Yeah, thank goodness OP broke up with Mark. I mean, I didn't see too much reason as to the breakup before that. I know, Merry Christmas. I've cheated on you with 2 women, but you're the one for me, baby. Like, Happy Valentine's Day. By the way, I've been sticking it in 2 other girls' V's. What's wrong with this guy? The guy who sees sexual intent in totally innocuous gestures just because the people involved happen to be different sexes turned out to be cheating himself? I'm sorry you got blindsided with that, but I can't say I'm surprised. Yeah, he was projecting. Yeah, and doesn't seem to see women as anything other than potential sex partners. Like another commenter said, he wouldn't find the father-daughter interaction weird unless his worldview is that any male-female interaction is inherently sexual or horny in some way, which means he cannot interact with women as people. Yup. I think that's pretty good. Like, there's definitely people out there that are like that. They're brain broken. It's like, you know what? This father-daughter interaction is weird because men and women are just inherently sexual and horny creatures, and there's no gray area, there's no in between. It's a black and white world that we live in. Weirdo. You're the one for me, but I totally had sex with 2 other girls while I'm with you, but they mean nothing to me because you're the one. Yeah, that doesn't work for me either. I'm glad you figured it out and dropped him out of your life. At least he knows that cheating is a valid reason for ending a relationship. After all, if he didn't know that, he wouldn't be telling everyone that he knows that you cheated, so he ended it. He knows better, he just didn't do better. Only a guess, but his reaction suggests that he was uncomfortable knowing that he wouldn't be able to isolate you from your father, and that your father would be protective of you if he, the ex, was abusive. And to add to this, the father set a high standard of how she should be treated. The ex didn't like that at all, since he was already cheating and thought that she would stay. I wonder if he did think that she would stay though. I wonder if he thought that she would stay if he said that, because he was already in hot water. How do you think that they're just gonna stay? Like, I reckon he was just looking to get out of that relationship because he just wanted to sleep around. You know, he was like, I'm kind of done here. I can't live up to the standards and I can't control her. I'ma just get out of here. Hey, thanks for the $1.99, cat. Appreciate that. Thank you for joining. I think you nailed it. Also, I think he was insecure because he knew her father is a better man and that he would never be able to measure up to him in OP's eyes. Mark doesn't know why you'd buy a lady flowers for Valentine's Day if you're not trying to get her in the sack. Guess who the actual creep in this story is? By Mark's logic, my brother getting our parents flowers for their anniversary has some weird implications. What do you mean? It doesn't? It doesn't have some weird implications? Oh, him getting his father flowers is fine as long as he says no homo, but giving flowers to his mother? Can't say no homo to that one, huh? The lovely greeting card nestled within the blooms. can't be roses, they are romantic implications. Once you open it, is a sweetly scrolled chicken scratching of a happy birthday, no homo. I want one of those now. What do you guys think? Oh my god, Eliza Hamilton, thank you. Let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. Thank you, Liza. Thank you. Posted by user Striking Emphasis 34, titled, Am I the asshole for taking in my problem cousin and cancelling family events? So me, male 30, and my wife, female 27, own a sizable farm that is usually the nexus of family events. 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 300 acres, and electrical hookups for 4 campers so the whole clan can come stay for extended visits in the summer. We built it that way deliberately. My cousin Bill, male early 50s, has a daughter, Alice, female 18, from his first marriage. His first wife was an immigrant with no family in our country and no contact with any family in her home country. She passed away when Alice was 2, and Bill remarried Tanya, female early 50s, 6 months later. They have since had 3 kids, male 14, male 12, female 8. Alice is a brat. Everything in their house revolves around either the boys, their 2 oldest together, or their princess, their daughter together. And Alice is left behind. She doesn't get to go on family trips, they wouldn't pay for extracurricular stuff, she couldn't take elective classes that had extra fees, etc. I'm not a smart man, but I can recognize that a kid's hurting inside and being neglected. She's like Mr. Hyde with them and Dr. Jekyll elsewhere. For the last 4 summers, she's been coming to work on my farm because her parents don't want her around over summer break. She turned 18 recently, and leading up to her birthday, her dad was very adamant that she was being kicked out of the house when she turned 18 because it will teach her responsibility. We, wife, Alice, and I, discussed it, and early on her birthday, we pulled up with my truck and packed her stuff up. We only packed things that she purchased herself or things that were given to her by another person. My boss got creative with our benefits provider so that we can get Alice on my medical benefits until she finishes university. She starts in a few weeks, so she's able to go to therapy. He reads this subreddit a lot, so even though this is a throwaway, I know you'll read this, Chief. Thank you. And she's able to get back into sports while still saving her money. This is where it all comes apart. Bill and Tanya are pissed that we took her in and refused to come to family events. Part of the family refused to attend as well because I'm undermining Bill and Tanya. I'll understand when I have kids. After they refused to attend events, a few others said that with gas being so expensive and not everyone attending, they would skip as well. My answer of, okie dokie, come if you want and don't if you don't, further upset people who thought that I should have tried harder to get people to come, so now we're down to about a quarter of the family in attendance for events. My aunt suggested that we have Alice over on weekends, and that she stays in a dorm during the week to smooth things over. I think that's dumb, but I'm dumb and stubborn. My wife thinks that it's dumb, and she's really smart, but also very much attached to the situation. Alice said that she'd rather stay with us, but would try the dorms to help make peace. Am I the asshole for not going with the dorm suggestion to keep the peace? Edit for info, I called Alice a brat, and my original post was way past the character limit, but in some of the stuff that got pared down, I explained it more. Typical teenage acting out, but cranked up, slamming doors, screaming matches with her stepmom, swearing, etc. Probably 3 or 4 big blowouts a week, and sometimes over some pretty disproportionately small stuff. I've watched her grow, and the acting out definitely came after the exclusion from family stuff. Edit 2, thank you everyone, I'm gonna keep on keeping on. A bit of a mini update, I ripped the band-aid off with the old fam jam, and told them that fewer mouths to feed isn't the punishment that they thought that it was. Anyone else who was coming is still welcome, and I'd have the extra cash from not feeding so many people to help the folks concerned about gas prices make it out if they so chose. I'm in like 4 different family group chats, and they're all lighting up. I'm gonna turn my phone on silent for a while and let the sparks fly. I'll check in on the post after a while, and if anything noteworthy comes up, and it's interesting, I'll give an update in the future. See what the comments have to say. So OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. Taking Alice in resulted in a significant portion of our family siding with Bill and Tanya and refusing to come to family events. We have 1 or 2 big gatherings per year and all the major holidays, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. So the older members of my family are upset that they're not going to see the grandkids, great-grandkids, and family members that live far away as much. My aunt talked to Bill and Tanya, who would bury the hatchet if Alice stayed in a dorm instead of our house, but I really don't care whether they come or not, and that means small gatherings. Am I the asshole for not caving? Tough one. I've heard this one before about the cousin. I hope that when it says update, it's something new. Yeah, it is. It's a new update that we've covered. There's a third update to this, as it says here. New update, 8 months later. Not the asshole. They mistreated her for years, kicked her out of the house, and now they want to demand that you kick her out too. Horrible people, and you shouldn't think twice about the dorm unless Alice actually wants that. OP says, in our conversations about the dorm, I told her that it was 100% her decision, but that I really didn't care about cousins I only see when I'm feeding them show up, and that I wanted her to make the call that made her happy. The consensus between her and my wife seems to be that maybe in a few years the dorm would be a good step between living at home and getting her own place. But staying with us for now is what she wants. You're a good person. It's not easy to take in a kid who has been experiencing a lot of neglect at best and abuse at worst. My family also did this for a cousin, especially when family gets venomous about it. Thank you for doing right by her. Yes, this. Thank you for showing her that there are adults in her life that care about her and want the best for her. Also, huge kudos to your boss for being creative. That's awesome support that she has even outside of her family. Yes, I was in a traumatizing and dangerous situation in high school because both my parents were active alcoholics. My aunt let me live with her family one summer while I attended a summer program at a university in their city, and I begged her not to send me back home. I was a straight A student who never got in trouble, and she liked me. But she didn't let me stay. She said it was because she didn't want to offend my parents or cause a rift. So I'm impressed to see someone give the suffering young person the care and respect that they desperately need, in spite of a pushback from the family. Bless you. Tall lady with the $5 again, welcome back to the stream. So which one's better, fried shrimp or boiled shrimp? You can dip fried shrimp in so many dipping sauces, but boiled has more flavor plus butter. I'm gonna do that in the Bubba Gump voice. Sorry to upset you here, all the shrimp fans, but I'm actually allergic. I will die. My throat will cave up and will kill me if I eat shrimp. I'd imagine fried shrimp though. I don't really like boiling anything. I'd say fried shrimp. I think just excluding Alice because she's not blood, I think that's what's going on here. His first wife was an immigrant with no family in our country and no contact with any family in her home country. So I'm going to say not blood related and also racist because immigrant, probably some racism thrown in there. No contact with any family in her home country. Also the fact that Alice is alone and has no support, it means that no one's going to come at them besides OP and whoever actually cares about Alice. There's no other family to come in and back Alice up and attack her. She passed away when Alice was 2. Yeah, the mum's not even alive anymore. And Bill remarried Tanya 6 months later. 6 months? Dude, you got together and married? Sorry, I skipped over that one, but getting together and marrying 6 months after? Oh my god. Your wife passed away and that's a crazy rebound, actually. You know, this sums up where a lot of the problems are coming from. This is crazy. Like, I don't care if Alice is a brat. Dude, Alice lost her mum at 2 years old, and then Bill married 6 months later and immediately started pumping out kids 4 years after Alice, was born. That's crazy. I don't know about all that, Bill. Bill doesn't sound like the best person ever. Not the asshole. They mistreated her for years, kicked her out of the house, and now they want to demand that you kick her out too. Horrible people, and you shouldn't think twice about the dorm unless Alice actually wants that. In our conversations about the dorm, I told her that it was 100% her decision, but that I didn't really care about the cousins. I only see... Oh, sorry. I've already read this, haven't I? My bad. This is where I was going to go. I'm really confused as to why you called Alice a brat. Was that intentional or a mistake? Otherwise, not the asshole. You're helping someone who has been neglected most of their life. And OP says, it was intentional, but a mistake at the same time. I added an info edit as this question comes up a lot. I had a much longer post than the rules allowed for originally, shouting matches with her stepmom, swearing, storming off, and slamming doors. You guys are the adults in this situation. You guys are causing that. Alice didn't start off as a brat until you guys started ostracizing her, I'm gonna guess, honestly. 3 or 4 big blowouts a week before she came to live with us, and a lot of them were over some really disproportionately small stuff. Living near them, I can tell you with absolute certainty that the behavioral trouble came after the exclusion from her parents did. Really? You're gonna act out after you're ostracized because you don't fit the biological family anymore? Ooh, so they don't want her living with you because if you experience and relationship with your cousins are better, it means they can't blame their bad relationship on her. It's phrased as a question, but it seems rhetorical, lol. I think you nailed it. This young woman has been summering with OP and his wife for years. Maybe she's nice to people who treat her well. Also rhetorical. We know the answer. You're a good person and this made me tear up a little. Bill and Tanya can go squat in a cactus patch. So can anyone else that complains. You've got this, but just to drive the point home, they've been abusing Alice her entire life. This is heartbreaking to me. That girl lost her mum and then spent 18 years being abused. I'm speechless that anyone could behave like this. You and your wife deserve hugs. Get lots from Alice if she's willing to share. Not the asshole. And Chief, when you read this, you're doing good stuff. The world needs more of this. What else have we got here? Imagine being killed by a shrimp. Hey man, leave me alone. That's just a crazy time frame to get remarried after your wife dies, right? Like, you're just not gonna even process the death of your wife. You're just gonna be like straight into dating again, monkey branching. I'm gonna ignore the fact that my wife just died and my child is too. You know, I need to ignore all that. I need to get straight back into a marriage and relationship and more kids. Let's not process any of that trauma. That sounds like a terrible idea. You call yourself dumb, but you have a grasp of nuance that a great deal of your family lacks. The Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde comparison proves it. You understand her position and the cause of her undesirable behaviors. You understand the unfairness of her treatments and the failures of her parents. You also have the courage to stand up to her, for her, and to stand up against your family. I think you're aware of how many people lack that. They live in this subreddit and many others. You also have the heart to care. You're doing the right thing. Everyone who has a problem with it is a problem, and that's not on you to solve. What your aunt suggested is quite literally your family trying to manipulate 3 adults because they are immature and controlling. Her living there affects no one beyond their own self-absorbed mental inner world. I hope she makes great strides with you both and has a blast in college. What I want to know is like how the rest of the family that doesn't want to show up to this occasion, you know, because of her, were they just ignoring like everything that's happened? Was it not huge drama at the time that Bill got married 6 months after his wife died? Did everyone just accept that and they're all just like, this is fine? And everyone's like, and it's cool that he abused his daughter, and it's cool that he's kicking her out, and you guys need to stop rocking the boat. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Alrighty, here's the updates on the situation and a little background info for some consistent topics in the comments. So my family likes to gossip and they are damn efficient at it. Sounds like they're damn efficient at, you know, supporting abuse too. If your truck breaks down with only you in it 5 miles from home, word has reached every aunt and cousin before you're in your door. When I put the word out, it traveled fast. Yeah, I bet, you know, they just laugh at you for being 5 miles from home and no one comes to help either. This morning I've been called all the names in the book and some new ones, so there may be a revised and updated edition of said book coming out. I've been told that I'm a good guy, a bad guy, I'm stupid, I'm smart, I'm short-sighted, I'm thinking ahead. I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. It's been neat. Long story short, I've got about a dozen relatives telling me thanks, and they'll buy me a pint next time they're out, and about triple that who never want to speak to me again, so those are both significant victories. Now, nobody here really cares about me. We're all about Team Alice here. She's a Redditor apparently, and came across the post independently of me showing her. There were tears, born of stress and relief, I think, and she's going to be staying here with us until she's ready to start the next chapter of her life, whatever and whenever that might be. She's got classes picked. Her college picks her first years for you for the most part, so it was a couple electives, and is looking into the women's rec league for a hockey team when the season starts, so she's all set on that front. Good on her. We love that for you, Alice. Regarding feeding everyone and paying for gas, without going into details, I was very fortunate as a young man to be working very, very hard at a job that I was woefully underqualified for, while a very wealthy person was on site. Basically, right place, right time, and the chief took me in and mentored me. We've made a lot of money on a business venture together in addition to me working for him, and since then, I haven't exactly had FU money, but enough that I was able to buy the property that I live on outright and build my home here with my wife, who also makes good money. Family is important to the both of us, and neither of our sides of the family tree have much money, so we've done our best to make sure money isn't a barrier to getting together and seeing one another. Now the big news. Tanya drove down to my house this morning. Bill and I had some very loud, very angry words when he drove down last night after I chose the nuclear option in the family group chats, so she actually waved a white flag from her car when she pulled up. Freak behavior, okay, but whatever. I shooed the dogs and alpaca away and went out to talk to her, brought her a muffin, and we had a bit of a chat. Sorry, not freak behavior, it's just weird. Allegedly, Bill was threatening to kick Alice out to scare her straight, and that they weren't actually going to kick her out, and that they were caught off guard when we showed up on the morning of her birthday. Shut up, Bill. I told her that she was missing the point, and that I'm not sure I could use small enough words or short enough sentences to explain it to her if she thought that that was the only problem. She cried, she peeled out of my driveway at Mach 7, and it's been radio silent since, which I'm currently enjoying. God, what's wrong with these people? Actually, what's wrong with these people? You don't understand, it was actually just a joke and a misunderstanding. I can't explain to you in short enough sentences because your brain is tiny and you're dumb. Oh, bye! I'm not even gonna listen to you, I'm not gonna listen to the lies and manipulation from UOP. Thanks everyone for the support. I'm not really a Reddit guy, so I don't imagine that I'll be back, but for my brief stay here, you definitely don't live up to the negative reputation the rest of the internet has given your site. You're a good bunch. Keep your sticks on the ice. What does that mean? What does that mean? Keep your sticks on the ice? Who says that? I've never... Okay, bro said, I don't imagine I'll be back, then writes 2 updates. And now, onto the update. So about a year ago, my 31 male cousin Alice, female 19, moved in with my wife, female 28, on her 18th birthday after being told that she needed to move out on said birthday from her parents, early mid-50s. I don't care enough to do the math. House by said parents. I'm here with an update at her suggestion. The good. A year later, she's a year into an engineering degree. She's been playing lots of hockey, that's where the saying came from, raised a couple of steers all on her own, and at her therapist's recommendation, she's down to monthly sessions after a brief stop at bi-weekly after starting with weekly. She's the same sweet kid, but without the extra unneeded stress of being treated like an also-ran alongside her younger siblings. Can we get it real quick? What's an also-ran? Is that... I don't know what that is. Can anyone translate? She's been... The stress of being treated like an also-ran. Is that a typo? I'll come back to it. The bad. Her dad showed up about a month after my original post, and there was a confrontation of sorts that ended with a peace bond being issued with restrictions on how Bill and Tanya could contact Alice, myself, my missus, or a couple of other family members that got involved. After the 6 months required by the peace bond, Tanya started getting back up to her old tricks, but Bill seemed to have smartened up a bit. Winners, and then there's also the also ran. Yeah. Okay, now you make it make sense. They did participate. She's the participation award of the family, alongside her younger siblings. Thank you. Thank you, Fairy Elephant. The peace bond meant that she had limited contact with her siblings, which has been tough. The oldest, 15 male, started out pretty hostile, but some of the other cousins filled him in on what was going on. I got blamed for his sudden shift in attitude because we've established that I'm just the worst with jazz hands and everything. I love that. The silly. Gossipy family mellowed out when they realized that the literal gravy train wasn't going to stop at the station for them. Thanksgiving last year was 26 people compared to the 60 plus that came the last year that I threw it prior to COVID restrictions. Easter this year was back up to an even 40, so we're probably going to plateau a little short of the old numbers. As for the resolution to the problem, Bill has been texting Alice every couple of days to check in. They've gone for a coffee a few times after the peace bond expired. I'd go to his funeral, but not his birthday party, were Alice's words when I asked her about where they're at. I'm hoping time can heal that wound, but she's been really good at setting boundaries. To quote one of the great warrior poets of our time, John Cougar Mellencamp, life goes on. I'll answer questions if it's allowed, otherwise here's some closure, guys. Well, apparently not enough closure because you come back right after that, huh? Oh, here we go. More about the rest of the family. Let's see what these have to say. Her dad and I have locked horns over this a few times. I was still a youngin' myself when her mum passed, so I haven't always been in a position to do anything more than lock horns, but I've at least been here. Not to excuse the extended family, but I think a fair few of them would have been more sympathetic if they lived closer and didn't just get his spin of it over on Facebook and saw what the branch of the family tree that lives here sees. They're not a big league of evil aunts and uncles, they're just kinda ignorant, and have been fed a very creative interpretation of the truth by Bill and Tanya for over a decade, with no evidence of there being more to it. Plus, my dislike for Bill and Tanya is quite well known in our family, which also colors their perception of the situation a bit, I'd wager. Bill remarried Tanya quickly after his first marriage. That does sound ominous when it's put like that, but as far as I know, there's nothing untoward there. Alice's mum was hit by a random drunk driver, and Bill's just a schmuck. Without putting the family's dirty laundry out there, my understanding is that their marriage was born out of convenience and not necessarily love. That's its own story that doesn't really belong on Reddit. Okie dokie. Hello, watching from Great Britain. Hello, welcome. Thank you for watching at 4 a.m. Oh my god. On Tanya and Bill. So we're going back to the update here. Editor's note, I'm including this one because I love OP's writing. I do too. OP writes so eloquently. Yeah, the two of them are a bit of mustard... Yeah, the two of them are a bit of mustard shy of sandwich sometimes. They've sworn up and down that they weren't actually going to kick her out and that it was meant to smarten her up and stuff like that, but whether or not they're lying is for someone who cares more about it to figure out. Kiddo is safe and sound, that is what matters. Where they're from. Oh, Canada. That part's not a secret, it's a big place. People from rural Canada talk funny. Truth in television. Stop saying weird phrases, it's so funny. One more thought on his family and their relationship. I was Alice from my generation of the family tree, and thankfully, while I didn't have a relative to throw me a bone, the chief took me under his wing. Because of this, they rightly assume that I have a chip on my shoulder and am projecting my own frustration and hurt on the situation, but they are wrongly assuming that the chip, frustration, and hurt are the sole motivating factors, and that I'm seeing parallels between us that aren't there because of it. This has led to some of the family that got one side of things and not others to be hesitant to take anything I say, do, or think at face value. It is what it is, I suppose. I'm happy that Alice is doing well too. Seems that there is so much depth to this story here. Maybe this is just weird Canadian drama that I've never experienced before and I don't understand. I wonder if those other people that got the story, like the full story, after not being in the surrounding area, that initially took these abusers' sides, if they still take the abusers' side after knowing the full story, because it's definitely a thing. They're still being like, I like these dickhead parents that abuse their kids more than I like the people that are trying to help them. You shouldn't have aided and abetted an 18-year-old to escape abusive parents that were kicking her out. You shouldn't have offered her that lifeline. You should have just let her be homeless. Like, that's the cooler thing to do. In the comments, Brian0 says, "Well done, sir. Alice needed someone to stick up for her, and I'm glad that you haven't backed down. And she's studying engineering. Once she starts earning a good salary, I predict the dad will want to get even closer. With that old chestnut, family helps each other out. You owe it to us for everything we've done for you and for everything you put us through to pay for your siblings' college tuition. 15 male will hit college age right when she graduates. My bet is that they blow whatever college fund they've saved on him and start hitting Alice and OP up for assistance with the younger two. Quote, I'd go to his funeral but not his birthday party. Please tell Alice that I'm totally stealing this. Pure gold. Best of wishes to you, your wife, and Alice. What a wonderful family you are. Love it. She sounds like one very bright cookie. Thanks all the powers that be for you and your wife. Too many unhappy people in the world. Why am I wearing a Scott-like shirt? Because it's nice, okay? I'm supporting editor Steve-O, dude. I'm supporting Scotland. These are the stories that restore my faith in humanity. You are your wife. Whoa, are seriously good people and should not have had to endure the criticism from the extended family. As someone else pointed out on the other post, Bill and Tanya just didn't want their mistreatment of Alice to be exposed by her behaving after being treated like an actual human being. Alice is going to triumph over this because of you. The world is a better place with you in it. And just think, if Alex decides to have children in the future, she will actually model loving and accepting behavior that she's learned from her aunt and uncle, not to be stuck with the toxic scripts that she witnessed in her father's home. And engineering? That's impressive. Now on to probably the final update. Spoiler alert, all is well, but it might not be as exciting as people were itching for. A friend sent me a YouTube video of Microsoft Sam narrating the previous posts and said, "This sounds like your whole mess, dude," the other day, which got me reading through the old comments and reminiscing on a slow afternoon. Because I'm a bit scatterbrained, I'm going to do this update in 3 parts. What's happened, what's happening, and miscellaneous comments and question answering. First up, what has happened? It's been a greasy horror show in a lot of ways, but everyone I care about is okay. That's a win, and we take those. I can go into a little more detail because I don't have to follow the Am I the Asshole rules, just the Reddit ones. So, Bill. He's been trying his best, I'll give him that. The guy's as sharp as a sack of wet mice on his best day, so him doing his best isn't particularly impressive, but he's trying, and that's really all you can ask of a person. He was texting Alice every day/every other day and seemed to genuinely want to fix their relationship. They started to communicate less after a month or so, still texting weekly. I admit I got my hackles up over that, but Alice told me we didn't have enough to talk about when I lived there to talk every day. Once a week is plenty. They've gone for a coffee a few times. They've gone to the restaurant in town, or sometimes the gas station, with all the old farts on Coffee Row, as Bill's been advised to stay away from me, my wife, our property, and our respective areas of work. Foreshadowing, more on this later. But we've been cordial when we've crossed paths by accident a few times. There is no actual court order. The peace bond has long since expired, but it's still a small community, and one of the constables at the local detachment told him that it wouldn't reflect well on him if he went looking for trouble and a judge had to deal with it again. He and Tanya are separated. Ooh, spicy. That was the first night that he came down to the house since the day he showed up, and I beat the brakes off him and got the peace bond. They've been fighting non-stop about Alice since we took her. Their oldest son has refused to talk to him since they separated back in October. Their younger son has been weathering the storm as well as a kid can. Their daughter is a total daddy's girl and is devastated that she's only seeing her dad on the weekends. I'm not privy as to what the specifics are. Bill came over devastated and upset. He was 3 sheets to the wind, and we were the only place within staggering distance. Tanya told him to leave, and that if he didn't, she would call the cops. Nobody's told me what happened that night, and to be honest, I don't give enough of a shit to ask. Reaping is never as fun as sowing, and Bill is learning that. Drama, oh my god. Oh my god. Sack of wet mice. Look at these goddamn sayings. He was 3 sheets to the wind, and we're the only place within staggering distance. Crazy. How do you even think of that? Bill's 2-ply. This has thankfully not impacted Alice too much. Her oldest brother has been a bit of a shit-ass about things, but she's thankfully seeing the parallels between their situations and taking it in stride. A quick aside on that subject, I'm very proud of her. She's become able to navigate some incredibly nuanced situations with a level of emotional intelligence that I know she didn't pick up from me. So we're going to chalk that up to my missus going full mama bear. Speaking of, that is some more foreshadowing. On to Tanya, she and Bill are separated. I didn't talk to her when we were talking, so I haven't received updates since. She's told the kids that it's all Alice's fault to varying degrees of success. It sucks, but in helping Alice how we have, we've positioned ourselves to be unable to help her siblings. My genuine hope is that the rest of the family is able to pull off the necessary mental gymnastics to see that those kids are hurting because of how their parents are handling things, while still being dead set on Tanya and Bill not being the problem. An epiphany as to what's been going on for the last 15 years would be nice, but that is a big ask. And I worry that a shift in worldviews of that magnitude could cause serious lasting harm to the tectonic plate between them when it happens. It's like reading a goddamn encyclopedia. This guy just has every word in the book. On to Alice, she's doing really well. Her life is her own, so I don't want to dive into specifics. I asked her before I decided to post this, and she said that it was helpful for healing, but now she's at the point where she doesn't want to dwell, which is fair. The long and short of it is, school is good, she's working part-time in an engineering-adjacent role at a company that's on her list of places to apply when she convocates. She sold off her steers and hasn't raised any more because there's only so many hours in a day. She's been playing hockey still, but in a less competitive league. We're looking at subdividing some of the property in a few years so that she can have her own space, build her own place, and have independence. That lets us put the title in her name, where she is not beholden to us or attached to us in any way, and can have her own flight plan moving forward. She did ask me to say that she is very appreciative for the support that so many strangers have shown. She still goes back and reads the comments in the post every now and again. On that subject, I appreciate it as well. On to the rest of the family. With Bill and Tanya separating, I've had a bunch of people who used to be firmly in the camp of me being the source of discord reach out and tell me that they'd changed their minds. Not that they apologized or were wrong, just that their opinions had changed on the subject. I told them to piss up a rope and suck the wet end. Hey, you piss up a rope and suck on the wet end. We're done hosting the large gatherings at every holiday. I know the posts didn't really touch upon my missus' family or how they felt on that subject. What it comes down to is they were very supportive from the sidelines, but are wise enough not to do the dance with the devil that is engaging with my side of the family. If her family were a small farm town full of honest, hard-working people, mine is the meth-riddled trailer park across from the tracks. They've been coming out in force for family events, even cousins that live quite a drive away and we are not close with. She told them that I've made being the host of the family stuff a big part of who I am and what makes me happy, and they responded in kind. Whoa. A lot of my side of the family is still coming, but it's a much smaller number of people. Still a lot to cook for, but I enjoy it, and it's all people that respect us and care about coming instead of showing up for a free meal and booze. As for my missus, that's some exciting news that was alluded to previously. We've officially begun creating an army of clones. Granted, real clones are expensive and require a lab, so we've opted to make an artificial clone. We've got a little boy on the way, due end of July. She didn't want too much about her put into the post, but she signed off on that part. It's exciting, but also intimidating, and that leads to the next part. Ooh, love that. What are these sayings? Yeah. This definitely impacted me in a bigger way than I imagined. The original post was really about Alice, and there is a reason for that. I'm all figured out. I'm a grown man, and I've got my life in order. She was a scared, neglected kid that needed help. After we got through everything and she was safe, sound, and on track, I read through the comments on the posts, and a few of them really stood out. They bothered me in a weird way that I couldn't explain. People were consistently pointing out that it's a lot easier to step in and make waves to do the right thing when you are already the black sheep. That really cut deep, in a good way. It made me do a lot of thinking and introspection, which I think has led me to a better place overall. I haven't talked much about myself, but I wanted to do so a little bit now that everyone else is taken care of. I grew up being beaten like a powwow drum, and was a vicious little bastard through most of my childhood and teenage years. I grew out of that lashing out behavior eventually, and got a job in the oil patch with one of my uncles. I actually met my wife through work, as she was one of our payroll admins, and my messy writing made a lot of extra work for her. It's a super cute story, but it's not one for Reddit. I met the chief working in the patch, and he really instilled in me the importance of being a part of a community. He got me into coaching hockey, volunteering at community events. I'm still a volunteer firefighter 10 years later because of his guidance. For my entire adult life, I have always been the stable, stoic rock for everyone else. I'm a very tall, robust man with a booming voice and a big laugh. I can fix anything with a screwdriver and a set of vice grips. If you have a problem, I know everyone in town and can get you to the right person and probably get you a discount. I've volunteered in my community everywhere that I've been able to. I've mentored with the Big Brothers program, built a playground and facility for the Boys and Girls Club of Canada, hosted pancake breakfasts and steak nights, ran bingos. I've helped fundraise to cover medical expenses for people that I've never heard of or met before the fundraiser. I'm a damn good person and I'm proud of it. I thought my family saw that and was proud of me too. Realizing that no, they were not proud of me, I just went from being a liability to an asset in their eyes was rough. I didn't have a breakdown per se, but it definitely affected me in a big way. Thankfully, I'm married to the most amazing person to grace this earth, and she helped me through it and supported me every step of the way. Along the way, the family that is genuinely proud of me and that care about me and love me came through too. We had stopped trying for kids since the start of all this mess, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to start back up again, because if I could do all that, and my family didn't love me, what more could I do? And worse, what if whatever was wrong with me and my family meant that I wouldn't love my kids? All is well, life is good, and I'm back to being the big friendly giant, which is how I'm happiest. To answer and address a few consistent comments and questions that I've seen across the posts, I have no clue to this day what Bill and Tanya's problem with Alice is. Bill does seem to genuinely want to do right by Alice. I spoke with him a bit when I first had concerns, but to quote Gandalf the White, I looked into his eyes and saw no deception. He's a fool, but an honest one. As long as Alice is comfortable and he's going to be a source of positive energy moving forward, I think she's better off with him in her life in some capacity than without him. I don't know how I feel about Bill here. The chief is a good man, and he had a similar upbringing to me, but worse because it was socially acceptable and often encouraged to beat the tar out of your kids at that point in time. He's the kindest, gentlest soul that I've ever met. Why is everyone treating their kids like Bow Wow drums? I've never considered writing, and it's not something that interests me. I've been told that I have the gift of the gab, and I've essentially just written down a stream of consciousness as I would speak it. Sorry for the silly turns of phrase. I'm from the tree line in the prairies. We talk funny here. My alpaca's name is Olivia Cromwell, and she's a cantankerous biatch. She bites, spits, and stomps when provoked, threatened, insulted, awake, or just because she feels like it. My wife compares my ability to work with her to Chris Pratt's character in Jurassic World and the Raptors. I tell her that I just have a way with aggressive women. She sticks her tongue out at me. I use a lot of aviation terminology in my day-to-day speech because I worked in aviation-adjacent industry, usually shoulder to shoulder with the chief who was a pilot in the Air Force. I've picked up a lot of the terms and slang. One last thing, a lot of the comments were along the lines of, I wish I had a relative like that, and other people said, be that relative. Just do your best. That's all you can do. Sometimes your best won't be good enough, and that's okay. Sometimes you won't win no matter how hard you try, and that's just life. Nobody can reasonably expect or ask more of you than that. What an update to, cap off this entire situation. I think nothing that he could have said could have been better here. I love that. Thank you so much for being that guy. Thank you for being that relative, OP. People shouldn't be afraid to do the right thing. I don't think they should be afraid to do the right thing. I just wanted to let you know that I read your saga in Best of Reddit updates of your quest to make Alice's life better, including this update. You, sir, are a gentleman, a scholar, and one solid dude. I agree with the chorus of I wish I had this family member, but also trying to be that family member. I honestly can't express enough how amazing I think you and your lady are in stepping in and recognizing that Alice was hurting and not just some asshole kid. It's hard to see past the behaviors to see what's the core of it, and you and your wife excelled here. Want to also say a heartfelt hello to the captain for breaking the cycle and being an amazing human and mentor to you, for you to pass on to Alice and your new son. Congratulations on that, by the way. I'm stoked for your future with your family, and yes, you do have the gift of the gab, your writing is hilarious, and it kept a balance in the story for all the shit that y'all were going through. Last, comments? I'd go to his funeral, but not his birthday party. Oh my god. Quote, the guy's as sharp as a sack of wet mice on his best day. As someone who grew up in the Canadian mountains and went to school in rural farmland, this is the most rural Canadian kind of phrase. Such phrases may include, but are not limited to, headed down the dep for a 2-4, but came back with a half. Couldn't find his own ass with both mitts in his back pockets. A healthy dose of bud, with the same connotations as the US bless your heart thing. And, in my own province, a lot of French swears that somehow all link back to the church. As a born and raised Canadian, I knew zero of these phrases until I moved to Alberta for a few years. As for the French swear words, yep. My grandmother every day said, Sorte ma cuisine maintenant. Ah, tabernacle. I can't do French. I'm so sorry. I can't do it. When I finally gained enough courage to ask her what the swear words meant, in between the sacre bleus and the disappointed head shakes she spit out, what you said connected to the church and God. Hope he sounds like an absolute top bloke. I love his writing. Also the fact that he's clearly besotted with his wife and basically stepped up to be a proper father figure for Alice means it's obvious that he's going to be a great dad. I hope for nothing but the best for him and his. I think I fell in love with OP while reading this. I'll send a hug out to the universe for him every time I describe someone as dumb as a sack of wet mice, or tell someone to piss up a rope and suck on the wet end. Oh, thank you for being here to enjoy the live, fellas and fellettes. It is lovely to see you all, but hope you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I'ma say Marky out for now, but I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon when the next live hits. Have a good one, gang.